Welcome to another edition of the Chuck and Ruck Show. I am your host, the ever loving Ruck. To my left, it is the wise one, the thoughtful one. It is Chuck. What it do, brother?
Yo, what's up, my boy?
Nothing much, man. Man, what a crazy, oh man, what a crazy day we have had today. Oh man, we got a lot to get into today. We're gonna get into the Vince McMahon, who never thought we see the day, but the brother finally retired. Getting into Josh Rosen signing with the Browns today, and then we get into LeBron just saying "F it," don't give not doesn't give a no more. But let's start off with let's start off with the biggest news of the day, with the biggest shocker, which I never thought I would see the day. You heard that right. 77 years old. Vincent Kennedy McMahon retiring.
Oh yeah.
After after all these years since taking over the company that his father basically started, Mr. McMahon has finally decided to call it a career as chairman and CEO of World Wrestling Entertainment. Now, call it what you want, but let's be real here. This is in midst of the investigations that's been going on involving him and the whole hush money ordeal with all the affairs and all the stuff going on. But let's just play it by ear and just basically say he called it a career after 77 years and it's time for him to sail away. But we know what it really is. So, Chuck, my brother, do you think what would you feel his legacy will be after walking away for so long?
Well, when I think of Vince McMahon, I think of a a innovator. Like I'm not sure if he did a lot of the writing for wrestling, but under his reign, like we got some of the biggest superstars ever, to step in the ring and take their careers to heights that probably they would have never reached if it wasn't for Vince and in that whole situation. I mean, I know recently and with the whole scandals with all the ladies and everything, that's gonna kind of tarnish, what he has built. But I don't think we can look past what he's done like for wrestling. Like I don't know if anybody can really step in and fill his shoes. Like, even back in the day, like the Monday Night Wars, like that was a good competition between WWE, WCW, but he squashed the competition and he just kept that train moving, man. Vince McMahon, he has a hell of a mind.
Um, so I agree with most that you have said, but there's a couple issues with that. Yes, Vince McMahon is an innovator. He is a pioneer in that industry when it comes to wrestling. He has brought that industry on the map and made it something to the likes of which we have not seen before. Yes, he has done all of that. However, there is a lot of red flags in that whole degree. Like in my personal opinion, he's gotten a hell of a lot lucky to get to the position that where he is in. Like I can remember in the late '80s and the early '90s, he got lucky to even be not in jail with the whole steroid case that he was in, because he was at a point where he was looking at serious jail time, but he got lucky to be out of that. And then there was the situation where you mentioned the Monday Night War, but you forget to mention there was 83 consecutive weeks where WCW had him beaten, not just average beaten, demolished in ratings for 83 consecutive weeks. If it wasn't for the own ego of Eric Bischoff and WCW, basically did something that thinking that they had him beat, but his own mishap basically put on one particular on the 83rd week of Nitro, where they basically revealed the outcome of a Monday Night Raw instant episode where they revealed that Mankind, aka Mick Foley, was going to win the WWE Championship, thinking that doing that was going to basically just put the nail in the coffin of WWE. But little did he realize that you basically just had all of the fans switch to the channel that night. You basically turned the tide of the war, costed you your ratings war, and flipped the script and basically got WWE back on the proper map ratings wise. Like, that's luck number two for WWE. And so that was pretty much one thing. But that's just the minor details that basically Vince got away with. The ugly situations, I can't even. The ugly situations didn't happen so much later. We're not even talking about the whole him having affairs with women and paying hush money and paying them hush money to basically keep that quiet. It's funny I mentioned that because apparently a lot of millionaires love to just do that type of deed, just get away with that. Vince does it, Jerry Jones does it, Dan Snyder does that. Apparently others have done it. But anyways, um I can't remember I can remember also the time where this ain't technically illegal, but it's slander and it's just highly disrespectful. There was a night on Monday Night Raw where he forced Amy Dumas and Adam Copeland, named Lita and Edge, by the way. He forced them to basically do this live sex scene on live television after both had begged and plead to not do it. But he basically just told them to no, do it anyway, and they literally performed a borderline live sex scene on live television, and it was, yeah, people think it was cool, but it is extremely uncomfortable. But probably the more grotesque scene that happened was the incident involving Ashley Mazzaro, where they went to a tribute to the troops scene in Kuwait, and she basically reported she was sexually assaulted by some troops over there. She reported to a doctor, and WWE officials basically told her to keep it on the low low. And she sued them, and basically WWE ever denied that they ever told her that she ever told them anything. God rest her soul. She passed away a few years ago. But it's just the ever growing thing of how yes, Vince McMahon has built that empire to be what it is, to be the big one of the biggest entertainment companies that we've seen. But the dirty business deeds that he has done behind closed doors to get to where he is cannot be ignored. So I'll just say this: to me, he's no different than most other business successes. You stepped over people, you broken legs, you stabbed people in the back, and you done some dirty shit to get to where you are today. To me, that's just no different than some people. Yeah, you're successful and you built the empire, but look what you had. Look what you have done to get there. I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, I'm just saying though, in regards of But in regards to Vince, though, it's like, and then not even just mention it, but not even just that though. Like, how many of the wrestlers that you have had and you just stabbed them in the back for what purpose though? The great wrestlers that you have for years in the past, I can't even think of. Like, I can't even count all that you had, and you just did dirty deeds too.
The biggest come to mind is that screw job with Bret Hart. You
Hmm.
know, the whole situation. That wasn't
Well,
cool at all.
it's funny you mentioned the screw jobs in '97 because the whole purpose behind that was because Bret actually signed he never renewed his contract with WWE that night, and he was planning to sign. Vince already knew he signed his contract with WCW, but Bret never wanted to drop the title to Shawn, and Bret invoked creative control over that, which technically certain wrestlers have the ability to vote creative control, and but Vince basically just gave him the middle finger and just pulled that stunt anyway, which in the back Vince knew he basically did him dirty. So as a farewell tour, Vince stood still, let Bret punch them in the face, and Vince sprained his ankle in the process and left.
Now, not events gone, and you know his career is officially done with the WWE. What would you say his biggest feud was?
Well, that's obvious. I mean, that's just obvious. It's big. Well,
I mean, if you think he's had some feuds in the day with, you know, with a lot of superstars, um, you know, I would say my personal favorite is how him and Austin used to go back
mhm.
and forth.
I
You
mean,
know,
that's
they
obvious. That's the obvious feud. Him and Stone Cold Steve Austin. But and not even that feud did several things. Number one, the feud made Austin the big, perhaps the biggest superstar in his WWE history. It built Austin to be the legend that he was, and it also built WWE as the company to where it was today. But if you want to go on a more personal level, the biggest feud was actually WCW, and everyone, yeah, his biggest feud was WCW because he tried to do any and everything he could to take that company down. But if you go on just inner turmoil and company wise, yes, biggest feud was Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yeah, he sat here and he sat here and basically they both each other made who they are today. If it wasn't for Austin, there would be no Mr. McMahon. If it wasn't for Vince, there would be no Stone Cold Steve Austin. It'd be the Texas Rattlesnake, the toughest SOB in the WWE. There would be none of that we'll be seeing today in wrestling lore as we speak.
oh
But
yeah, oh yeah. I just remember, you know, every Monday night jumping in front of the TV trying to see what Austin and you know and Vince had in store, man. I was like must see TV. I would even not watch Monday Night Football just to see, you know, exactly what was in store.
absolutely, absolutely, like we would literally skip Monday Night Football just to sit here and watch Monday Night Raw. Like that's how deep it went. And whenever that go off, then we'll watch the remaining Monday Night Football just to get a glimpse of that. That's how deep it went. But speaking of football, the Browns have found themselves their apparent number two quarterback, and I don't know about you, but I'm not particularly not particularly fond about this one, but we have signed Josh Rosen to be our number 2 backup for don't know how long, but for the remaining how time he will be our number 2 backup. Josh Rosen was, for those that don't know, Josh Rosen was the number 10 overall pick in the infamous 2018 NFL draft. His career has been, well, let's just call it like it. Yeah, you said it best. Not pretty. Career 2,800 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 21 picks. This is the guy that infamously said at the day of drafting him that there were 9 mistakes ahead of him, and he was gonna make all of them pay. Yeah, we're still waiting for that one to happen, but Chuck, is this a potential sign? Do you think that we may know how long Watson may be suspended for?
Like the more that I think about it, I'm starting to feel that way, that this move kind of just reaffirms it, that the Browns feel strongly that that Watson won't be going to play at some point this season, because I don't think you would go after a journeyman like Rosen if you expect him to play any meaningful time. I kind of think that this move right here kind of brings competition to camp for that second spot between him and Josh Dobbs. So, I kind of, when Andrew Berry made the deal, in the back of my mind, despite what everybody was saying, how the NFL going to push for at least a year suspension and how Deshaun might have to get reinstated, it was just in the back of my mind that Andrew Berry is a smart guy. And I think he had a feeling that, hey, at some point, Watson is going to play. So, this is just a depth move. I wouldn't be surprised if Rosen didn't even make the team, honestly. This is just a signing, just to have an extra signal caller in training camp, kind of give Josh Dobbs a little push, to actually see if he's ready to compete at a high level.
Right. I 100% agree. Going into this whole process, even at the beginning of it, I made this perfectly claim that I see no matter what happens, even when they NFL was sticking their chest out and was screaming for indefinite suspension, which I knew that wasn't going to happen. I sat here from the get go and stated no more than 8-game suspension for Deshaun Watson. I feel this is just a depth move and a protection move just in case anything was to happen to Jacoby Brissett. I'm 100% with you. I don't see Josh Rosen I don't see him making the final cut. He may not even last that long, honestly. He probably be gone by third preseason game and everything. I just don't see him making longevity of it. Um, he is nothing more than a journeyman. He had every chance to try to be something successful in this league, and he just has not done it. He'll be someone's backup. He plays this here and there. As it stands right now, this is Jacoby Brissett's team until Deshaun Watson comes back and gets in there. I still believe personally Deshaun Watson, the latest he'll be back is by week 8. By week 8 he'll be back, and I'm sticking to that. Josh Rosen will have no type of say or discourse or anything involved in this team. I just think this is just an emergency move, like you say, and you hit the nail on the head. Barry knew what was up involving the situation from the get go. Like they knew going in that Watson wasn't going to miss no time. Reed wasn't going to miss the time, but he wasn't going to be out for the longevity. Like I said, the whole NFL thing, talk about indefinite and have to basically be reinstated. That was just a load of hogwash. Like the personal conduct policy doesn't allow, unless something like crazy had to happen. The personal conduct policy doesn't warrant him basically, you know what I'm saying, being out for that long. So that whole suspension thing wasn't gonna be that long. This was just a temporary move just to have it as a backup, just in case anything were to happen with Jacoby Brissett, which knock on wood, hopefully it doesn't happen. But I don't see it. This, this is Jacoby's team until Deshaun Watson comes back. This is not. This is just an emergency. All will be good.
Oh yeah, yeah. A lot of people in the city, in Cleveland, they're down on Brissett. They wanted to go after old boy in San Francisco. His
Jimmy
name's
G.
Yeah, they wanted to go after Jimmy G. I even heard the name Cam Newton. Like they really down on Brissett right now. And you know, I don't think I don't think Washington gonna be suspended that long. But if by the slight chance, the very slim chance he is suspended the entire year, you know, I wouldn't be upset if they did go after a quarterback like Jimmy G, someone who has proven, that he can be serviceable, even though he can't stay healthy, he has taken his team to the NFC championship, what, 2 out of 5 years, 2 out of 4, something crazy like that.
Yeah, 2 out of 4 years.
But barring that, I think we're gonna ride with Jacoby. Jacoby, he's a good game manager. He's not the greatest. He's not gonna light the field up, but I don't think he's gonna put you in that position, where where we playing from behind, because we still got the best running game. The way our defense came on last year in that second half, I wouldn't be surprised if the Browns finished with a top 5 defense, at the end of the year. So, you got the recipe to be successful, even with Jacoby, and then once Watson does come back, I think the sky's the limit for this team.
I agree. I think if they went after Jimmy G, they must have felt like Watson wasn't going to play this year. I think you go after Jimmy G if you know Watson was no shot this year at all, because like you say, Jimmy G, while he's not great, the guy is incredibly serviceable and can lead your team, and has proven that he could lead a team to green pastures. He led San Francisco to an NFC Championship game last year and led them to a Super Bowl in a couple of years past. If everything else around him is good, San Francisco has proven to have a good running game and good defense. Look at the Browns situation. Browns running game is incredibly good. In the second half of last year, the defense had really turned it up last year. So he would be coming into a situation will be beneficial to him. But I don't think I don't think it would be wise to have two guys on the roster that you're paying nearly $70 million to, basically. Like you're paying Deshaun Watson $46 million this year. You're paying I believe Jimmy G almost $30 million. Like, would that be smart to have two guys on your roster paying over $70 million to? Doesn't make sense.
No, 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 not at all. Um, even though the Browns, they do got a lot of cap room left, I think it's money can be spent elsewhere.
Absolutely.
Hopefully we get another defensive lineman. That's what my focus is on right now.
I wouldn't mind potentially looking at for another wide receiver, like especially now because David Bell, he went on the pub list today, Like you could be looking at the needs for another wide receiver. I've been saying that since the season started. Like I know people are high on Donovan Peoples Jones, but you still need another number three. Like there's questions there. Like I know David Bell had a great rookie year, or I mean, had a great college career, but I will still think you need someone that's a little more proven, basically. Not talking Julio Jones because he
I
showed that he showed that he was done last year.
yeah, that's
He
over
definitely
with
was
for
done.
Julio.
It's over with for that guy. But I was thinking more someone like a Will Fuller who
Yeah,
had proven that he has great success and good chemistry with Deshaun Watson. So why not have someone like him on the roster, basically to get comfortable with Deshaun Watson and make it easier for him to get acclimated with everyone else.
oh yeah, I got one for you.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't gonna like this. Business is booming. Antonio Brown, man, he's still out there.
Mm, yeah, I'll pass on that. I'll pass. I'm sorry. I'll
I
pass.
mean, he he's still talented. He's just a nutcase. I signed him to an all incentive based contract. As soon as he act a fool, you out of here.
He has proven he is incredibly talented, but yeah, I'm cool on that. I'm cool on that. But speaking of individuals who's not afraid to speak their mind, LeBron,
Oh yeah.
LeBron James. But in this particular regard, I have no issue with what he said. I don't have no issue with this because you know what? I don't have really no particular issue with LeBron says. Well, except the whole taking my talents to South Beach incidents. But I'll give him props about this. I give him mad props to this. Man, I went to Miami that first year and everything was still about what everybody thought. Then I really just like I don't give a fuck what nobody thinks. I'm him. You know what? So, Chuck,
Mm-hmm.
think he's outlandish on that?
Um. Well, first of all, I think LeBron got that "I'm him" quote from Kevin Gates. You know, I need to state that on the record. But um,
Definitely.
like being like seeing LeBron's career from his first game up until now to heading into year 20, like I seen the change. Um, like when he got to Miami, I remember LeBron, like he wouldn't even like reporters here used to ask him about Facebook and Twitter and all that. He said, "No, I don't use Facebook because it's for college kids, and I didn't go to college." Like he was steered clear of social media, but when he got to Miami, he started opening up and you know doing all these different things. So you just saw the change, and
Mhm.
whether he want to admit it or not, I think the biggest, the most influential person in his change, yeah, Pat Riley had some influence. He got him to leave Cleveland, but I think it was Dwayne Wade. Like Dwayne Wade always been that guy, man. That just, he got that mindset like Kobe. I mean, he's not as talented as Kobe. Don't don't get it twisted.
No.
But when we saw in the finals when they beat Dallas, when they came back and he just was taking it to the hole. He like, hey, I'm a scorer or you gonna foul me. It is what it is, but we're not losing.
I'm glad
And
you mentioned that.
and and that rubbed off on LeBron. I know Dwayne Wade, their first year didn't work. Then in the offseason, he said, LeBron, this is your team, you number one. But Dwayne Wade, his instincts, his mindset, that mentality, that rubbed off on LeBron, and helped LeBron become the man he is today.
No, you are 100% right. I think when he first went there, he tried to still be that same guy that he was in Cleveland. Tried to be that pass first scorer. Tried to be that selfless guy. But I think with Ron Wade, he basically said, "Look, you can't be that guy here. You have to be you have to be that bad MFer here because we can't do this without you." And that second year, that's when he woke the fuck up. He woke the fuck up and something because I think that change took place because I remember this like it was yesterday when they lost the finals. I remember he had that presser and he basically was like, "So we lost. Y'all happy now? Y'all gotta go. Y'all gotta go be miserable now. Y'all gotta go lead y'all lives basically. Y'all gotta go live y'all average lives basically now." Like something changed in that dude after that, and he was never the same ever since then. He was never ever since that dude. He was never the same. Something totally changed in that dude, totally. And ever since then, and ever since then, that's when everything changed. Everything. And then that's when he developed that dog mentality. That's when he developed that dog mentality, and that's when he basically decided to stay here and not give a f no more. And then ever since then, that's when everything changed for the for the for the good and for the bad. Because I think when he came back in Cleveland, that's when he started to be what's the word I'm looking for? Diva like. I mean, you recognize for some of the things that he did, because like first year he came here, you could just tell like when what's his face was our head coach, like David Blatt just he had no respect for that dude whatsoever,
He didn't stand his
none,
chance.
none whatsoever. Call his he decided when he'll check out of games, he called timeouts against that dude's will. Whenever that dude called plays, he's like, nah, we're not running that. This is what we run in. Excuse me, this, that, and the third, basically. It's like Black couldn't stand a chance against that dude. Like LeBron did things his way, basically. Like, you know what I'm saying? He did shit his way. Then when Ty Lue took over, that's when he's like, okay, I'm kind of gonna do things your way, basically. Cause like he wanted Ty Lue to be coach. But yeah, it was like ever since then he could not like Black couldn't stand the chance. And it was sad too, because I don't think Black was a bad coach. Black was not a bad coach at all, basically.
Yeah, we were number one in the East, you know that. But LeBron, you know, I remember, like I said, back in the day when the Cavs they were looking for a coach, and everybody kept saying, "Well, the Cavs need a coach that played before," and LeBron is gonna respect him, and you know it proved to be true. You know, him and Ty
Right.
Lue, you know, he respect Ty Lue decisions because he's been through the wars. You know, like you said, but when LeBron came back, he had that attitude like he never left. And I believe that's what rubbed Kyrie the wrong way. Because Kyrie, like, hey, I've been here, you know. But
Exactly.
LeBron, like, man, you haven't won anything. You've been
Well,
playing.
it wasn't even just that though. It was just like LeBron completely changed when he came back here. He felt as though like LeBron came back here because he felt like he had this mindset that he had complete utter control of the entire organization. He had complete utter dictation on who was gonna come here, who was gonna leave here, and everything. Remember, he sat here and basically told the organization who to resign, who to trade, and everything. Like it was him that made them resign Iman Shumpert, Tristan.
Oh
He
my
made them
goodness.
give Tristan Thompson that 5-year, $80 million contract. Like, you know damn well that dude was not worth that money for nothing.
No way. He, like you said, he came here and laid the smackdown, but hey, Gilbert made him them promises. Gilbert probably was at his house on his hands and knees, like, please come back. You can do whatever you want,
That's
and
exactly what happened.
LeBron took it and ran with it,
And that's exactly what happened. That's why he went on that flight, went down there, basically begged and pleaded him, told him, like, dude, I will give you whatever you want. Just please come on home. He went full Keith Sweat mode. Please, please.
Oh yeah.
But
But I would definitely say it was worth it, bringing the city first championship, it
in 52 years.
oh
But
yeah.
this is why certain individuals like him have that attitude that they don't give a fuck. Because when you give individuals that type of power, they gonna have that mentality that they don't give a fuck. Like this is why I hate to say it, this is why LeBron has the mindset that he has. Because you basically have given him so much for so long, they gonna have that mindset. Like hell, KD has the same thing to a particular degree. This is why he sits here. This is why the dude signed the contract extension for 4 years, 100. Dude hasn't begun his contract extension, and he already demanded a trade. Like this shit's broken. This is why stuff like this can't happen. This is why I have to agree like stuff like this can't happen. When you give certain minds, when you get in the mindset of certain individuals like that, they feel they can do whatever and even say whatever. I mean, well, saying whatever is just one thing, but doing whatever like that, like this is why when you can't, I hate to say it, but you can't give certain individuals the ability just to do whatever like that.
Oh yeah. Now see, I know this topic right here is for another show, but I'm gonna speak it a little bit. A lot of that has to do with the AAU basketball. Like you telling these kids at such a young age how great they are. They able to flex their muscles at such a young age that when they come into the NBA, they not even feeling like they gotta work. They like, hey, I've arrived already. This is just a part of my journey.
That's we're gonna save that one for another day. That's for another day. That's deep. That's deep. Yeah, we gonna say that one for another day because that's deep. I'll leave it with this one. You're right. And I'll leave it at that. I will leave it at that because that is right. But that's all the time that we have for today on this edition of Chuck and Ruck. It is training camp time. You know what that means?
Oh yeah,
Preview time. Get ready because next week we're gonna be getting previews. We're gonna be getting previews for East Division. You think you gotta check? You think you know who's gonna win East win? You know who win East Division?
I got a feeling, but we got a little time.
We have a little time, yes, we do. But get your homework ready. Until then, I am Ruck. That is Chuck. Good night, everybody.